Alright. Season 5, episode triple digits. We are officially 100 deep into season 5. It's madness. So no really. How long am I gonna do warm-ups? It's crazy. Hey Zelin Avgistigia Stonic, what up? How's it going? Episode 100. It's crazy. So I had a talk with Spirit on yesterday, and a lot of plans will work. We discussed prizes. I think it's going to be cool. Some of my ideas about features for Unreal Bjorn 3 seems to work, which is cool. So we'll see. Cheers to guess. Episode 100. I mean, I've been on 100 many times. Season 4, Season 3, Season 2, Season 1. So getting to 100 isn't that big of a deal. But Season 5, yeah. And so this is the 5th year, more or less. Yeah. On my fifth year. Episode 100. Anyways, let's get going. So I was thinking, okay, what to design today? And I was thinking just now before starting the stream, like what's the like for the Diesel Punk IP, like what's the next deal? Like what next should I do? I mean, there's a lot of military types, like the things you can do in a military. So if anyone has any suggestion on what type of military thing I should do, I'm all for it. I think the mono wheel is American. I was rationalizing before the stream, like what separates the Germans against the Americans in the Diesel Punk world. And Americans are rounded armor. So I was thinking, a mechanic. That's a pretty cool idea. So anyway, so get to the point, like, so the rounded shapes, wheels, right? So the Americans have wheels versus Germans, which is angular, and arms. Like they have mechs way more than Americans. I mean, wheels in a sense, they will need to have kind of mech abilities, or like mech designs, right? Because walking in tunnels versus driving in tunnels. I mean, driving, yes, but if there's a rugged road, you won't be able to drive, right? The wheels will be destroyed. Hey Bruno, how's it going? So a mechanic. Yeah, alright. That's a pretty cool idea. Okay, let's go with mechanic. Also a medic. Yeah, a medic I think is needed too. So that's cool. That's cool. Right. So in my mind, when you said mechanic, I instantly was thinking along the lines of human and tool. That was my initial thought, right? So you could go, because if you're gonna have to do with legs and so on, what if it's like a forklift type thing, right? With pincers in some interesting design, and the driver is sitting. I mean, this is like World War II inspired engineering ability, right? So they can't have too crazy, too dramatic things, right? But what if they're sitting in this tool, much like a power loader from Alien, right? In a little harness and a counterweight, you know, so that they can lift and force stuff. And the legs. I assuming the legs need weight distribution, but also elevation ability. Exoskeleton, kind of exoskeleton, but more of like a power loader. If you're unfamiliar with power loader, I will quickly Google it. It's such a iconic design. You have seen it, I'm sure of it. So this is the Alien power loader. Like they load the spaceships with it, and it's like, oh, amazing! For the time, it was such a cool idea. So I mean, this is like a tool versus operator, right? And that's the kind of idea I had here initially, right? That they sit and pilot this machine. Hey, good morning, Captain Bose. How's it going? Hey, Frencha. What's cooking? Yeah. So that was one of my ideas that I had, you know, like if a mechanic, they're gonna be fixing screws, they're gonna have to go up high or go low. You got fresh hair? Got yourself a haircut, sir? A good clean haircut does wonders to a man. One man wolf pack. How dare you say he's a leopard? Boss is not a leopard, he's a wolf. Ow! And a fresh beard. Indeed, sir, indeed. So I'm thinking, is it like, what faction is this? Is it the Americans or the Germans? The Germans. So this was one of my ideas, right? He sits and pilots it, and it's a little bit. I'm thinking, you have to when I design, I'm a lichen. Yeah, I'm all into lichen fetish, you know. Nothing but lichen for me. Where was I? Oh yeah, whenever I design, um, Zealand, that's funny. German engineering. Yes, the engineering maybe doesn't break, but you know, what if they're shot, right? Doesn't matter how well engineered something is if it's broken, destroyed. Anyway, so again, for the third time, whenever I design, don't read the chat, I always think of numerics. It sounds weird saying it out loud, but trust me, it makes sense. One thing that you gotta watch out for when you're designing is the number 27. Just kidding. It is being careful of repeating the same amount of things. And what I mean about that is, let's say like there's one driver, two hands, two arms, two railings. So if I would make two legs, the chances are now that there are six. And if you start detailing the same amount of things, detailing the same to the same, let's do it just like this for the sake of it. By having four, it throws off the amount, you know, it can become too messy. It's not like you gotta watch out for number 9, not anything crazy like that, but what I mean about it is you can create stupid designs when you're repeating or breaking the numeric flows of objects. You know, like there is you know, there's a reason why there's 4 legs on a chair rather than 3, you know. And there's a lot of people when they for example, when they don't do a good design and they can't put their finger on what makes the design too busy or doesn't work, a lot of times you can just start counting the things in your design. Like if it's just 2 pairs of things constantly thrown around, there's going to be a lot of symmetry. There's going to be a lot of evenness. So as soon as you remove one of the 2, you're going to have asymmetry. And depending on where you put it, how you put it, and all these things, it can create a certain certain design influence, right? Hey there, Bart, how's it going? The broet. Hey Miguel, how's it going? What's up? For those who don't know, by the way, Zealin is doing some cool stuff on his sketchbook on Discord. Pay attention. He's struggling, he's getting some good feedback. There's a lot of give and take. Anyone interested in maybe giving their thought on the subject or things like that, I recommend. Which, one of the reasons why I talked about that, or mentioned rather, is the fact there's an interesting thought about I was thinking about that, like, you know, what it takes to get to the big league. And it was in conjunction with, what's his name, Kobe Bryant, who died in a helicopter crash. And the funny thing is, I mean, not funny, haha, but, you know, is that he is the only one people talk about, more or less. I mean, obviously his daughters. I mean, dying in a helicopter crash is extremely tragic and, you know, horrible way to go. And it's a shame that all those people died, a total of 9 people. But still, everyone is talking about Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant this, Kobe Bryant that. You know, it's because you know, he's so. I mean, I don't follow basketball. I almost said baseball. That's good. I don't follow basketball at all, but I do know that he's like a really, really good basketball player. And the funny thing is like, yeah, he's really good, right? And he's gonna go down in the history as, you know, one of the greats in the sport. Yet he has teammates who are the elite of the elite. You know, they are at the top. They are so good at playing basketball. Yet that person is so much better, or was so much better, because, you know, he died. And there's always these people that do that extra push, that work that extra hard, that questions everything, that has like the work ethic to grind, the people that, you know, practice every day and all these things. And there's no difference between his teammates and him in terms of practice. I'm quite sure of it. I'm quite sure that all of his teammates practice as well. But when it comes down to it, I think there's always a difference in, like, how you practice, how often do you practice. You know, there's always these stories about, he's like, not Kobe Bryant, but a person is the last person to go home from practice. Like, they literally have to throw the person out from the basketball court. The janitor comes in and switches off the light, and that's the only time that person goes home, right? And living that kind of life isn't fun. You know, it's extremely hard work, and a lot of people, like, let's take as an example his teammates, right? Yeah, they practice, but maybe they're not that, like, crazy about work ethic, right? They're the third to leave from the practice. You know, it's like, oh, that's fine, good work. I'm sweating like crazy. I did 1,000 drills and whatever. Yeah, that's good. He's elite level athlete, but comparatively, you know, let's also take the example of someone leaving just at the same time as Kobe, but maybe Kobe was thinking more actively of what he was doing, or was constantly thinking about finger position or whatever. You know, I don't know. I don't play basketball. Screw it. And those little things matter. Not that one day. that one practice, who cares? But if you've done it for 5 years, 10 years, constantly thinking about these smaller details that the other people don't think about, you have 10 years of doing something that the other people haven't been doing. And that could be the significant difference in terms of like how good you get at something, which is always a kind of like an interesting thing I think about when I do my studies and when I draw in my sketchbook and when I think about where I want to take my art and where I want to go in my career and so on. I mean, I don't have the perfect answer to where I want to go in my career. And it's really hard to know, you know, where you want to go and all those things. But I always make sure to have a goal, let's say a goal for the year. I want to get better at this. I want to learn this better, you know. How the hell does color theory work? And I make sure that not only am I designing, not only am I drawing every day, not only am I thinking about clients, and not only am I, you know, doing all these things, but I will add to it color theory. Because if I stop doing something else, that other person that is at the, you know, we're playing in the top league, they might start practicing something else, and I will fall behind. And it's also a difference in work ethic and all these things, right? So I always try to think about things that I want to be better at, that separates me from all the other people grinding. Because in the end, we are competing against each other. You know, who will win in that sense. But also, there's always people in the industry that have that like Kobe Bryant name, you know, like Craig Mullins. Everybody knows who Craig Mullins is because he's a beast. Hey Mel, how's it going? A Silva art. Oh, that's cool. So you have to consider, you know, like what do you need to do to make you having that edge. And a lot of it comes with, you know, the love of it, the love of the game, right? And I'm not talking about basketball, but art. And I'm quite sure that Kobe Bryant loved basketball, right? That for that teammate that plays basketball just for the money, like, yeah, that teammate probably will be really good at basketball if you would go to a basketball court and you could win probably one-on-one against majority of any player on the basketball court because you've grinded the art skills to a point where your art or your basketball skills are good, right? And so well trained that you'll win majority of the what's it called? Matches. But then that person is elite level, right? And but then playing against someone who actually loves the game and doesn't mind grinding and have really passion for it and is wanting to learn all the little ins and outs of the game, and there's a stark difference in those people. And I think those people that are like hallmark names, you know, that everybody remembers and everybody knows are just those kind of people who love it, who live it, you know, to the point of obsession, I'm quite sure. And I'm not saying that you have to be obsessed to have a career in this industry, because like I said, you could be the person that just does it for the money and gets really good at it and has a career as it, like majority of teammates in you know, football, basketball league. Who cares, you know, who player number 12, like, I don't know, someone will know because it's at an elite level, right? But then again, you know, both are successful, but there is a difference in skill between those two people or type of people. Which is for me one of the cool things about the human machine, and one of the things I love about art, is that you can learn so much and still have so much left to learn. You can figure so much out, and then all of a sudden you get this one idea that throws you absolutely off, and realize that you're nowhere close to it, and it's this ever moving target that you can't reach, which I absolutely love. And it comes with like, I think that's a good telltale sign, is that the more you learn something and starting to figure it out, the more you want to learn. And if you got kind of have that feeling, you're off good to a good start, you know. Because for me personally, I have been doing this professionally for like 15 years, and I still find new things to learn, and I still find new things I want to master and understand and practice. And I mean, I can draw characters all day, every day. I'm still going to be able to draw something new. I'm still going to find some new challenge that I haven't figured out yet. And I think that's a really, like, a healthy point of view to have. So that because in that sense, doing all that hard work will never grow old. But if you are jaded, overworked, and have lost the passion in the grind, it's so easy to stop loving the game and stop loving learning new things. I know this as well, because I when I was making my own video game a couple of years ago, I think 5 years ago, 6 years ago. Holy shit! How long ago did I make that game? Time to make a new game. I had to sit there and do, you know, had a checklist. We got to do these things. I was kind of forcing myself through it. I hated it. I just looked at the clock and I wanted to go to bed, right? I realized quickly that that's the wrong approach, because I'm using my body as a machine rather than the pilot, right? And I had to accept the fact that I can't grind my way through this, because this is you have to involve passion into it and love to what you're doing. So I had to stop working for a day. Even how much I knew I was falling behind in terms of scheduling. I knew that, I mean, like, oh shit, deadline is coming. I can't not work. You know, we're gonna lose. But I figured out that if I sit and grind and just do the minutes, the work gets half speed done, less quality, and I'm breaking myself down psychologically. So I realized that, okay, I gotta take a break, clear my mind, and kind of focus on something completely different and not art related, because I did double work, right? I did day job and then night job for my own game. So I didn't want to sit and do more art, so I did something else, just switched off, you know, like watched a movie or played, took a walk or whatever. And then when I did next day or third day when I went back, I was full of passion and full of energy, and I had a clearer picture in my mind what I wanted to do. And I think that's so easy for a lot of people that are learning this industry, because a lot of it is the hours, right? The days, the 10,000 hours mark, right? As everybody's chasing, because that's usually when you start mastering something. And it's really important to take a step back from all that grinding, because it's so easy to lose that thing that makes you happy. But if you're able to maintain the happiness through the grind, then you're on to a winning combination, right? Then you can sit and grind and grind and grind and still have fun doing it. But also, as an example, just to kind of play the devil's advocate here, not doing art will make you better at art, because you step away from it. And also another thing is you can read art theory when you're taking a break from drawing. You can learn about, oh, how does colors actually work? And you sit there and read. And you should do that, because in the end it'll teach you that you don't need to sit with pen touching paper to get better. Art is a lot more beyond that, because that's purely mechanical drawing. The 10,000 hours is mechanical practice. The human robot needs that mileage to be good. Okay, what I've read is that these characters have a high degree of compulsive obsessive behavior. Yeah. Miguel, absolutely. Absolutely. But they are, I mean, like for example, the teammates that are not that obsessive, they have a career, they have good money, but they're also not in Hall of Fame. And you know, each to. I mean, I love the idea of mastering something. Hey, Spectre. Well, thank you very much. Thanks for coming and adding another name to the crowd. Fantastic. Enjoy. And thanks for the kind words. A Silva. Yeah, I think 7 years ago. Yeah, 7 years ago I released the game, I think. There, Bard. That's funny. Yeah, Rocky music. Hey, Amir, how's it going? Good morning. Yeah, absolutely, Silva. If you're wasting those, if you're just counting the minutes to the 10,000 mark, yes, you will be good, but wasted time compared to how good you could be when you are effective. And both are okay to do, mind you. Not everything has to be like supreme. Hey, Ghost Ship, how's it going? Pro 42. What up? The Mind Waker. Mind Waker sounds like a really shitty Zelda ripoff. The Wind Waker or whatever that. Yeah. Like Chinese version. Pressure Francia. The last weeks I feel completely lost in my graduation project. Pressure Francia, yeah, that's tricky because it's a obligatory passion, right? Because you got to be passionate about it because you're going to be graded on it. So it's a little bit like dig deep, put in the hours, find the passion, try to find an angle that makes you tick, or a point of execution that makes you tick and feel like excited about it, and then accept the pain that goes along with it. I know the feeling. I did a bachelor, and I know the feeling. The Mind Waker. Ah, or maybe you did. Right. But again, these kind of topics for me is the things I really like to think about, and I think it does change things if I compare myself to others. I'm not saying I'm Kobe Bryant of the art world, but I kind of like it. I think it has a good mechanical feel. I can see it moving. I can see the feel of the mechanics, how it walks with the elbows up. Able to lift and manipulate. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. I kind of like it. Really, the pain of bachelor thesis. Oh man. Yeah. Spectre, if I have any tips on what things I can practice if I want to go into illustration. Okay. Quick rundown. Narrative, as in storytelling, materials, and like mechanical expertise in how to render, um, and mood and tone. You can do illustrations in many different ways, but figure out what category the illustrations are in. Have a checklist for what is needed for those type of illustrations. Like dark fantasy stuff. Like moody, heavy lighting, textural, and then you can't do League of Legends super smooth grading on a dark fantasy painting. Well, you could, but that's not what you instantly go for. But those are the like four things that you should probably focus on. Yeah, absolutely, Miguel. I mean, it is. I mean, you have to have a balance of passion and obsession versus life, because there's only a selected few that can do a healthy balance without compromising the other, and more than often, one will always suffer. So you have to realize also what you're doing to your family and friends and so on with your passion, um, or set time, make schedules. say, okay, do you want to go for a beer on Friday? Then you know, okay, Friday I'm not going to paint anything, so I probably should paint a lot on Thursday, right, or Saturday or whatever, so that you know if you want to still, but both is important. Life is important. Who cares about an artist if they don't have anything to put in their art? Pro 42. Wow. That sounds crazy. Oh no, you should have, yeah. Shame. Because yeah, so it's deliberate, right? Uh, Spectre, that's a good way of studying and learning, but you should consider what you like. I mean, when I do an illustration, I can switch the style, as in uh, tone, mood, and tone can shift, and design elements, and how I paint, and so on. But I'm still going to funnel it through my aesthetics, my point of view, what I like. I'm not going to try to be Jason Chan, even if they show a Jason Chan image saying this is the style we're going for. I am going to adapt the technique and tone and rendering style, so on, to match that direction, but I'm going to funnel it through my artistic decisions. So it's never going to be one-to-one comparatively to the reference in terms of style, because I can't be that artist, but they want my skill sets pushed towards that direction. So, and if you're an illustrator, you got to practice that, because you can't just do one style, one subject, if you want to have a long life as an illustrator. Or would you just be the best fantasy illustrator, like Frank Frazetta, right? Frazetta just did one thing and he got very famous for it, but I don't think he was that successful in terms of, I think he was lucky for the time, subject, and style. Anyways, stream is over. Let's find someone to raid who is online. Someone doing crazy line art. Someone is doing handwriting. She is continuing her perspective. Someone's doing the crotch. And what's Tim Remmers doing? He's doing some cool 3D magic. Screw it, let's raid Tim Remmers. Alright, thanks everyone for joining in. See you guys tomorrow morning. Have a good night, good day if you're this part of the world, blah blah blah. Thanks everyone for joining in. Some of you it's very late, some of you it's early morning. Oh, you're at Spectre, you're at Anthony Jones? Interesting. Alright, let's do the raid. I'm gonna do the outro and then take you to the raid, so don't go anywhere. Make sure to give Tim Remmers some love, he's a cool guy. Thanks for joining. Toodles.